who are watching and listening to this. I'm Sasha Raskin from the Six Figure Practice. And also, good morning to all the participants and members of our private practice accelerator, the Six Figure Practice. So, I want to talk today about what I learned from choosing my first therapist. The first part, you're probably very much aware of it and you probably heard it, but I think it's very important to say again. First, always invest in your own therapist and coaches for a few different reasons. One, definitely you should be practicing what you're preaching, right? So if you are a therapist in private practice and or a coach and you don't have your own coach or your own therapist, well, I think it's a bit of a double standard, right? If you expect your potential clients to um, sign up with you for you helping them, and you don't have or you don't think it's uh, important slash affordable for you right now to invest in yourself, that would maybe not directly show up in your consultation calls, for example. Another reason is just basic self-care, right? Helping others is not the easiest thing to do, right? So helping yourself to stay grounded and supported during all the ups and downs of your private practice, including sometimes difficult clients, including sometimes your business being rocky, is super important. Now, another reason why you should invest in your own therapist or coach, it's a wonderful way to learn by seeing what works and what doesn't as a client. And coaching and counseling training goes so far. You will learn even more by seeing what works for you and what doesn't from different people. For example, um, on this Friday, I went with my wife to equine therapy, which was incredible. And I go there once in 2 weeks or once a week, depends on um, my week schedule. In uh, I think it's like 4 or 5 hours. I'll have an intensive with one of my coaches, which is a group coaching program, helping business coaching to help others. Half an hour ago, I finished a call with my other coach about social media marketing. Again, I'm a part of his group. And it's incredible to invest in different people that can help you achieve what you want. Um, so leading by example for your clients is extremely important, and it's very important for yourself. Now, I want to make sure I keep it short because I have my next client in 10 minutes for now. So what I learned from my first therapist, I think it was about, definitely more than a decade ago, maybe 15 years or so. And first of all was the choosing process. I got 5 names from my insurance company, and I had no idea who they are, and what they are. Um, Internet search wasn't very big there then. Maybe it was 20 years ago. I don't remember right now. But I just got their names and their phone numbers. So all I could do in terms of basing my first initial impression was on their first initial response to me. So I called all of them, which is, by the way, exactly the same process or similar to what your potential clients are going through. They probably are contacting other counselors and coaches and not just you. So that's important to keep in mind. And they are comparing you to others, your website, your communication process, your consultation call, not just your prices, as you might be thinking. And 4 out of those 5 counselors felt extremely unprofessional to me, or at least in the in the state of mind that I was at. I was pretty depressed back then, and I just needed someone to talk to about that. I was kind of isolated, and therapy seemed to be a good step. Um, but I've never done therapy, and I didn't have any idea, even though I was studying psychology in my bachelor's degree. Um, one of the therapists I contacted never returned my call. Another one returned my call maybe 4 days after. Another one answered, but was extremely busy. Sounded like he was rushing, and just call me later. That was his response. So um, those were pretty bad first impressions. But the therapist that I ended up choosing, I don't remember if he answered right away or if he called me back like half an hour later, but he gave me like 20 or 30 minutes of consultation time, answered all my questions. In the consultation, what was really helpful, I asked him, well, can you help with depression? And he said, for my other clients, by all means, it was helpful for them, right? So he didn't promise anything, but he gave this glimpse of hope based on his work with other clients, which was extremely important for me to hear, that there is a hope at the end of the tunnel here. He also said something like, you can just schedule a first session, see how it is, and it's not like you're not stuck with me, right? You can compare with other therapists, and if it doesn't work for you after the first session, you don't have to continue. So that relieved a lot of pressure for me. So that's in terms of choosing. First session, it was exactly what I needed. He was just very attuned to what I needed at each part of the therapeutic process. In the first session, I just needed to talk and talk slowly. He wasn't pushing me. It was super gradual. And he was quiet like for almost 50 minutes, which is exactly what I needed then at that session. Later on, maybe half a year later, I found out that his style was very dynamic. We had much more engaged conversations later on, but he knew exactly what I needed. And that first session was where I was actually making a decision to work with him or not. So that was extremely important. Now, during the sessions, there was a gradual process. At some point, I think half a year later, he introduced EMDR. I was briefly mentioning a trauma I had in the past, and he didn't push it, right? But he kind of introduced it, and we did it, which was incredibly helpful at the point where I was ready. So again, he was attentive to what I needed during each part of the process. And gradually, there was a transition towards wins, right? The things that I was accomplishing as I was moving out of my depression. And that was great. So it was much more positive psychology oriented towards the end of our work together. What was extremely helpful as well for me to learn from him, that I use till this day in my private practice, is clear boundaries. And the fact that he had very clear boundaries just modeled to me that it's possible to be a good human being and still have clear boundaries, which I not just use till this day in my private practice, but also in my other relationships. So, for example, I have ADHD. Sometimes I was late to the sessions, like half an hour late, or just forget about it. And guess what? He was just very politely said that he needs to end on time, or he needs to still charge me for that late cancellation or no show. And in my mind, I was like, come on, dude. You need to understand me, right? I have ADHD or whatnot. But I didn't say it, but that's what I was thinking. And it was very helpful for me to see that he is very strict with that. Also with the outside communication. He was very short with his text messages, and it was just around scheduling always, even though I wanted to open up to bigger, larger themes. So that was his decision in advance, and he kept to it. The way he did gradual transition from insurance copay to private pay. So I got 12 sessions and I had a small copay with my insurance, and I wanted to continue working with him. So he introduced this. I think 4 sessions before my 12 sessions insurance package ended, that he will need to increase his price. I think my copay was maybe 70, but his full price was around 300. And he said that he understands it's difficult. So if I want to continue, he will be increasing it gradually, right? For a month, it would be, for example, 200, sorry, 150, another month, 175, then 200, 250, 300. That was extremely helpful. And for me, it felt like easy transition. What else also he did was he followed up when I wasn't scheduling. Like 2 or 3 weeks sometimes would pass, and he would gently follow up. What I learned from it is what not to do, actually. So at the end of the sessions, I ask my clients if they want to book the next session, and we book it then and there, because life gets busy, and it's just easier to schedule the next session at the end of each session, and then there is a continuation. And if your clients don't want to book, they'll tell you. He was also very attentive to when I was ready to finish therapy. And he just, I think, like, I didn't show up like for a month, didn't schedule anything. And he said, well, it looks like maybe you are ready to finish therapy. And I thought about this, and yeah, I was ready. And he said, well, let's do a final session then. And that was extremely helpful for me. We did this final session. It was a good summary. I felt I got closure. And also, that final session is also what brought me back to him when I needed therapy again a year later, right? So getting that closure initiated by him was extremely helpful. So I'm gonna run to my next client. I hope it was helpful. If you're not a member of our private practice yet, feel free to schedule a call with us in the link below. Hope you have a wonderful